Hey everyone, this is Brent Buntin, Chief Growth Officer at Code and Theory, here at Sport Beach with Dustin Sedgwick, CMO of Payments at JP Chase. Welcome, Dustin.
Great to be here.
So there's a lot going on here, Sport Beach. I had a few questions for you because you're doing a lot of innovative stuff right now. You're sitting in the most innovative division of the bank. How are you specifically driving innovation within the division? And how is JP Morgan overall looking at innovation?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say JP Chase all up first really believes in innovation. I mean, at the top of the house, Jamie Dimon on down really believes that you can change things for long-term change. And that's why he's investing $17 billion in technology this past year. I mean, that's more than most technology companies are investing in technology.
It's more than most market caps.
Yeah, it's more bigger than some other banks altogether. That's just our technology spend. And when you think about it, I mean, the business has been around 225 years. You don't get to be around that long without adapting, changing, leading your business to new areas of the world. So that's what JP Chase stands for. It's what's embedded in our organization. In the payments business specifically, we've undergone massive amount of change over the last several years, but it's from investments and decisions 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, because you have to take that long-term view and you invest over multiple horizons. And so part of that change is believing that you can really move mountains. I mean, the payments business now moves $10 trillion a day.
Yeah, well, tell everyone a little bit what sits within payments.
So the payments business is everything to do if you accept money, you hold money, or you move money. You effectively are moving through the payments business at JP Chase. It's now $18 billion revenue business line within the firm. And it grew from about $10 billion just a couple years ago. So massive amount of growth and change. And from the industry at large, you think about everything with accepting credit cards to now pay by palm. You think about marketplaces like Amazon or Airbnb or Lyft or Uber. Those things don't exist without payments infrastructure really modernizing and changing. And so there's a lot of growth on the horizon, and we're really driving that at the firm. And for me, individually, within the marketing group, we need to be the change agent. I mean, part of the transformation was part of this, the firm, the business brought together under the payments umbrella. And it really operated like a back office function historically, treasury services, very sleepy. Well, if you run it like a technology company, which this business is, fundamentally there's 15,000 technologists and developers and operations specialists working on the payments business. You have to build the brand, the equity, your go-to-market like a technology company. And so that's what I've been doing the last couple of years, and the organization has undergone a lot of change in driving everything from innovation of how our customers experience us, how we show up around the world, how we distribute our content, how we educate our partners on what they can do with us, with incubation projects we've been doing. So there's a lot of change we've driven, and so it's been an exciting growth path that we've been on.
Can you speak a little bit about some of the success that you've seen with the biometrics product?
Yeah, so biometrics is pay by palm or pay by face. If you think about it, it's really how can we reduce friction for the customer going through a purchasing experience. How can we make it safer, more convenient for them? How do we make it better for the merchant, who we represent? Really, my business works with the merchants. The other business is selling the products and services. And so biometrics, we think, can be a huge unlock for a lot of companies. You think about identity, digital identity, and if you want to move between different merchants, different products you want to purchase, if you could just show up and your face is scanned and they know who you are, your preferences, you could walk out, it has your payment information stored, your security, compliant, all sorts of protocols, we can really empower that. So we just built this out for the Miami Grand Prix, actually, at F1. And we took their merchandise store and we built a fast lane last year. We piloted it where you could pay by face. And so people got an email ahead of time.
Surreal. Consumers
got an email ahead of time to register. All they did was upload a selfie, create a little profile, put their payment information in. Then when they actually got on site, they can grab their stuff, walk up, check out just by showing their face. Boom, payments less than 1 second, approved, and they can walk out. So it speeds up the time. I think most analysis we've seen in the industry can speed purchase decisions by over 30 seconds per each one of these retail interactions.
That's huge for retailers.
And so absolutely, and so we scaled that this year. Built the fast track on all the merchandise lanes. We also built their e-commerce store so that they can have a truly omni-channel experience. People ordering at home, showing up on site, delivering, having their identity recognized. And that is the type of innovation that we want to help drive across retailers and merchants all across the globe.
No, it's really impressive. And are there any learnings or any secrets that you can share from your success stories? I mean, given the growth that you guys have seen within the payment space with our viewers?
So I would say one of the biggest things, my learnings from takeaway, both from my time here at JP Morgan, previously I was at Microsoft for 10 plus years, was you have to take a long-term view of where you're going and why you're going there, but the how, you have to be adaptable and flexible. Because oftentimes as you're building these new products or experiences or marketing engagements, your original thesis might be off. You get new data, you get new insights, you have to pivot. And just like a startup company that builds and changes direction multiple times, large organizations need to build these investments, these growth innovation units or projects with that flexibility in there. With, okay, we can hold through the ups and downs, short-term, pain, friction, going into the valley of despair, and you see in the product cycle, it's the same thing for anything like this. And you have to be willing to work through that, believing that the end state that you're trying to get to, the 10 years, 5 years, 10 years out vision of how is it going to make things better for our customers, how is it going to make things better for their customers, for our employees, having that long-term view, being flexible and adaptable, and then really pushing your own organization to feel comfortable with that change, with that friction. And short-term failures are not failures, they're learnings and data of what didn't work so that you can actually get to the thing that worked. That's a mindset shift. You really have to embed that into the culture of an organization. But I think if you do that over and over, you preach what you practice, and the more that you build that into your actual operating model, the more that you can actually drive innovative change, products, marketing, experiences, customer engagements. And so that's, from the top down, that has to be part of the DNA.
Yeah, we spoke about that a little earlier over lunch, but JP Morgan's an enormous organization, largest bank in the world. And you spoke about some of the keys to success that you're having in terms of driving that innovation, that innovative culture. But it's not easy, right? 280,000 people?
Over 300,000 now.
Over 300,000 people. So how, as you as a leader, how can you help accelerate and enable that to ensure that changes are happening?
Yeah. I think the accelerate is hard, and I would actually caution leaders.
You have.
Yeah, but it's with patience and understanding of where you need to go, and having your own, I would say, internal motivations on driving change and being comfortable and bringing people into the organization. I would say the long-termism really matters. Jeff Bezos used to always say, what are the things 10 years from now that aren't going to change? And we want to build to that. You need to change to meet those things that aren't going to change. So things like, you want smoother, frictionless payments. You want more selection of your merchandise. Those things aren't going to change. So really believing in the end state of where you want to get to. I would say also you have to be comfortable with the short-term failure that I mentioned a bit ago, because short-term failure will just give you new data and insights. You have to really embed change agents across the organization.
And a lot of those are from outside the industry.
Yeah, and by design, I think a culture with a more diverse set of perspectives, whether that be background, work experience, culture, language, all of that matters for driving new ways of looking at a problem. And so in the financial services space, taking the blend of people who have great depth and knowledge within financial services, within banking, within payments specifically, blending it with people with backgrounds in technology go-to-market, B2B and B2C, blending in people from consumer backgrounds like the Nikes or NFLs or T-Mobiles of the world. You mix all those things together and you get this new melting pot of marketing expertise. And those, when you bring those people together, they come up with the most interesting, creative, innovative things to test and learn. And that's where you really start driving change. And again, you don't want to do everything all at once. Yeah. The body will reject the organ. So you have to be strategic in how you place your bets. They build on each other. People start feeling the change, start being a part of the culture. And I think another really important thing is to really embed change and have it take, you have to explain the why. And you've probably heard this before, like start with why. There's books written about it now, but really there's a lot of study of people are bought into the change or to driving different outcomes when they understand the intentions behind it. And so, because then they feel like they're part of the problem solving. And so getting people truly bought in and being missionaries, not mercenaries, and so if you just tell them you have to do this, here's what we're doing, here's what you need to go do and why and now, but if you don't explain the why, then people will do it reluctantly. They won't be as bought in. They won't be as creative in the problem solving. And so if you really explain why you need to change, why we need to get to where we need to go, people will surprise you in how much they are part of the solution and really driving that change. And that's really, as an organizational leader, you need to rely on those people throughout your top to bottom in your organization to really embed that culture and really create operational efficiency and change that has the outcomes that you want to get.
And you can find those people anywhere, regardless of industry.
Absolutely, and I think those people need to feel empowered to voice up and speak their perspectives, and so you really have to create team structures, you have to create feedback loops that is not just a top-down function. It's like, how are you getting those insights and that perspective from others? For payments marketing at JP Morgan, we actually launched a moonshot marketing program.
That's great.
And so, you've heard about hackathons for product development. We actually did that for marketing ideas, and so we had really great participation. I think there was over 200 people in my organization that came in from all around the world, representing, I think we had 9 countries represented.
Wow.
These teams, they self-formed into 5, 6, 7-person teams. Everyone pitched ideas that were not their core function. Like maybe I'm a copywriter and I came up with a product idea. Maybe I'm someone in analytics and I came up with a creative idea. But they brought these ideas together, and we've actually are funding those ideas. And so people are now working on projects that are outside their core remit, but are growth ambition for the firm and for our business all up. And really, that when they actually see it in practice, they're like, wow, I'm junior person in this part of the organization, and my idea has been funded by the CMO, and we're actually driving change. We're going to be embedded with our product teams. We're changing our sales go-to-market. They really start to feel like, wow, this is change.
That levels up everyone.
It does, absolutely.
So beyond people, we've talked a lot about people. What tools and technology? What tools and technology are you helping enable your partners and your employees, your team with, in order to help kind of continue driving forth innovation?
Yeah, I think you want a modern marketing organization. You need updates across your MarTech stack. You have to understand who you're reaching, where you're reaching them, the level of engagement. Multi-touch attribution is really difficult, especially in large B2B sales cycles. And so really reassessing how you measure the efficacy of your marketing, super important, because you need that buy-in. You need to show the ROI of your investments to your CEO, CFO to create, true scale. But I would say a common pitfall actually is relying on tools, technology.
It's buying the tech first.
Yeah, being tech first, but actually losing the fundamentals of marketing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people who would benefit on just getting as best understanding of the customer, of your platforms, of how your business model, and really understanding core marketing aspects. I mean, marketing is conveying something that people believe is valuable, change their behavior. It's all about how people engage and take information and learn from it. And that is built into our DNA. So I tell people to go back and study David Ogilvy on advertising. That came out in like 1983. There's a book, Scientific Advertising, from Claude Hopkins from 1923, over 100 years old.
Yeah.
There's insights in there.
Basics.
That should be embedded and should be part of your DNA. Same thing with storytelling structure. Joseph Campbell, Hero with 1,000 Faces, I think came out in the 1950s. It tells you about storytelling structure that should be built into your marketing programs. That's what I actually think people need to spend more time on. My organization, myself as well, just you build on the backs, stand on the shoulders of giants to get where you're going further. And all these people across history in marketing, advertising, psychology, decision making, we should be learning from that, and we should be building off of that, and not just jumping to what is AI going to solve for me today, because AI is not going to make you a fantastic marketer if you don't understand the basics.
Yeah.
And so, what's your value prop? What's the insight you're driving? How do you create, tension, creative tension in your content? Those are the types of things that, as a marketer, I'd really be focusing on right now. And then using AI to supercharge that, but not getting those things out of order, not using technology to try to, leapfrog the fundamentals.
Yeah. So you'd say the fundamentals are more important than the shiny object.
I think we're here at Sport Beach. I'd say the equivalent would be if you're just practicing your trick shots and your alley-oop dunks, but you can't dribble, shoot, and play defense to actually get in the game. Then what are all the fancy stuff going to do if you don't have the fundamentals that put you in a position to be able to do your alley-oop actually in the game? And I think that's probably an apropos metaphor for
that's
AI
a great analogy.
Technology right now is that you need to be in the game. You need to understand what a marketer is trying to do, how it moves the business forward, where your customers are going, be deeply embedded in the insights, targeting, value prop, benefit-driven content, messaging, emotional arcs. Then you take technology and AI and you supercharge it, but not reverse. And I think there's probably too many people in the industry, or maybe just across all of media, that wants to jump to the shiniest, newest thing and spend all their time learning about that, and they don't think they need to study everything that's come before them. Is there any other industry? Are there artists who don't study what's come before them? Are there musicians that don't study what's come before? No, I think they all start by studying the best from all those that came before them. Marketers and advertisers should do the same, and that empowers us to then move things forward in the industry.
Well, I think that's a great way to wrap this up. Thank you very much. Fundamentals, accelerate it with AI, technology, but focus on the fundamentals. Thanks, Dustin, for
Awesome.
joining us.
Thank you,
Sport
Brent.
Beach.
Thanks for having me.